Hey guys, how are you? Welcome. Hi Ash, how are you doing?
Hi. Bit surprised when I just popped back on the screen.
You had the control. Thanks for coming in. Hey everybody, my name's Zanne and I'm from Auralite. And here we are live today. I'm super excited to be here. It's my first live, I think, ever. So I am still learning the whole technological thing. So please bear with me if I look a little bit odd as I figure out what I'm actually doing. But we'll just give it a little bit of time and let people come on. But in the meantime, I just want to say hi, Ash.
Hi.
So Ash is
Supposed to vamp in this part while we wait for people?
You're supposed to what?
Are we just meant to vamp?
What's vamping?
You know, like when someone sits at a piano and they just like write notes, just waiting, filling time. Like, is that what we're doing?
I don't know, but it sounds interesting. So anyway, Ash, I'd like to introduce you. Ash is my goddaughter, actually, which is pretty cool. But she's also an astrologist and a medium, a mother, a swim instructor, a business owner. Anything else that I need to add there?
She wears a lot of hats.
and she's my best support for this evening. And this evening, we're really keen to actually talk about, I guess, just serving spirit and also around what sort of energy is happening at the moment. And in particular, the tarot card Temperance, which I think is important for a lot of people right now. So we might just get straight in. Oh, thank you. Hello. We might just get straight into it and just start having a bit of a chat around. We'll start maybe with like the temperance situation. I don't know about you, but there's a lot of people have come into work lately, and myself included, and my partner. There's been like a whole lot of feeling like you're not getting where you need to go as quickly as you'd like to. Not that
I agree with that because
Yeah.
everyone I talk to at the moment is going through the same thing.
Yes, yeah. Not
Right.
hitting brick walls, but
No,
just
but
not able to
sometimes
get
like
to it anymore.
yeah, it's almost just like, oh, we get over one hurdle, but then here's another. So it's
Yes.
like still going forward, but it feels like 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So I want to show you this beautiful card, Temperance. Now, if you know anything about the tarot deck, Temperance is actually one of the major arcana. And one of the things that it means lots and lots of things, but let me just look at this. Watch you see this? Look what I did. Sorry, I'm getting all technological.
I'm glad you've got that there, but I can't see it because I don't have my glasses.
Oh, you can't see it?
Well,
Okay.
the
Neither
definition.
can I. But what does it say? It says walking the middle path, negotiation and balance, fluidity of time, tempering your energy, and the perpetual motion of time. The biggest thing that it really means to me is patience. And I feel like that's a really significant thing at the moment. If you're starting at A, you want to get to C, but there's a whole lot of B to do before you get there. And it's not that you're not going to get there. And energetically, you really know like that's where you need to get to, but it just can't come quick enough.
Yeah, and I think balance within that is also a word that really strings to mind. Is it's patient, but it's got to be balanced patience.
Yes. And knowing that it too will come.
Yeah, and because I think if you go for patience, but you become that very frantic patient, like I'm waiting, but if it's frantic, it's just not going to work. It has to be the calm, it has to be the balance, and it has to be the weather the tempest is what I would say.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like another analogy, tempering chocolate. When you temper chocolate, you've got to go slow. You can't push it. If you go too fast, you make a mess of it.
And I've done that before. I learned my lesson when I tried to melt chocolate too fast. It was not nice.
You've got to go steady as she goes. Yeah, but I feel like at the moment there's a lot of frustration. for people and for myself at times, not quite so much for me at the moment, but certainly in recent times where I just haven't been able to get to where I wanted to go quick enough. And I guess one of the things to talk about then is like, how do we manage that? Like, what do we do in order to go through that process, which is so important to get there? What do you think? What does everybody think?
See, look, I haven't been, normally when I'm doing this sort of stuff, I would be looking at what's going on in the sky, but I have not, for the life of me, for about a month or so, looked at a transit chart. I couldn't even tell you what's going on in the sky at the moment because I don't have it, like I haven't looked. But normally what I do is, okay, well, what planets are either squaring each other? What are they, where are they hitting in our own charts? And then going, okay, well, now how do I sort this out? Now, I don't think we've moved out of Taurus. No, we're in Taurus at the moment. So, like, it's interesting that you've got Temperance to talk about today, because I feel like Taurus is very much that.
Yes.
In the sense where in a very earth energy, everything is very grounded. But when we're talking about Taurus and we're talking about Temperance, we're talking about sitting back to just enjoy the finer things in life, sitting down, listening to the music, enjoy the chocolate bar, take the time. And I think the energy in that is when you're going against that really beautiful Taurian energy and you're trying to push too fast. Taurus doesn't want that. Like when we talk about Taurus, we talk about the Virgo energy, and that's all about just sitting in the beauty of life. And I think very much Temperance is very much about learning to appreciate the beauty within the bigger picture.
Yeah. And they're beautiful words, actually. And I think that's something that we do struggle with at times, is because we're so focused on getting to the goal, we actually forget to enjoy the process of getting to the goal. And actually just being able to sit in that and go, yeah, I've achieved something today. I've achieved another thing today. Yeah.
If you tend to be like, if you're a fire sign, I know particularly with myself, where like I'm a Leo, so I like things to go fast. I like it to be done right now, and I like all the creativity to come and explode, and I like it done my way. And in a way that I get frustrated because I like to create and then give that creation to people. And I feel Taurus is very much, it's not about other people. When we're talking about Taurus, it's very much about giving back to yourself. And I think Temperance actually the capacity to sit within yourself.
I agree. And I think, unfortunately, part of being in our world now, with all of the technology that's around us, there is a real push, like, snappy time, get it done.
It's that constant dopamine. Like that dopamine hit every time you scroll past something on Facebook or you get a like on a post or something like that, because it's constant and it's straight away. Like there is no time to learn patience. And I think I was reading something about kids, because I'm a mum, and actually allowing kids to be frustrated, because when it actually gives them the opportunity to learn patience. Because if we give them stuff all the time, it's not a skill they develop. So when they do have to be patient, it becomes very, very hard. And I think even as adults, that's very much something that we've fallen into a trap of, where we just, I need to send an email. I send an email, it arrives straight away. If I feel like going shopping, I can go and sit down on my phone and I can shop like that right now. There is no need to wait anymore.
Agreed. Absolutely. And so bringing that back to a spiritual perspective in terms of remembering to take the breath. Sometimes it doesn't have to be big. And I know people hear me say this all the time, but 5 minutes, take the breath for 5 minutes if you can. And it's incredible what that breath can do, because it just slows it down just enough that you can go, okay, all right, I'm taking the breath here. I know I'm going to get there. It's just not going to be today.
It has to be the 5 minutes. I think if you're working moment to moment, it's that literal stop, breathe, continue. And if you do that enough times across the day, like there is your 5 minutes. I don't even think down for 5 minutes in one go. It's just remember to breathe and just be present in your body. And I know that's something I struggle with constantly, is because I'm constantly on the go and I'm got, you know, a million balls in the air. It's on dropping. I've got to remind myself, and it's a very conscious thing I have to do, because it's not something I do naturally. And I think when it comes to spirituality, I think there's a very big myth that spiritual people, it's just within them. And I think most spiritual people I know, and on those that are like genuinely in touch with their spirituality, are the ones that it doesn't come naturally for. They're the ones that are actually working on it.
Yes,
like,
definitely.
If I meet someone, they're like, oh, I'm really spiritual, I'm like, oh, you're probably not. Not. That just tells me you're not really doing the work, because that's not human to be. Like, I think spirituality is learning to accept your humanity and be patient within that humanity.
Totally. And you can be spiritual and still struggle with humanity. And in fact, I think those two things almost contradict each other, because and I guess this is part of what I wanted to touch on tonight too, is in the past for me, like I've gone through so many times where, right, here it is, I'm going to be spiritual, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to be vegetarian, I'm going to eat really well, I'm going to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I have all of the, I'm going to journal every day. I have like all of these grand plans, and I can do it for like a week or 2 weeks, and I feel like, yeah, I'm in the zone, this is super cool. And then because I've created such a stricture with it, then as soon as I fall out of it, I don't just fall out a little bit, I fall out of it completely. It's just done.
When I was working as a personal trainer, because I did that for quite a while, it's the mistake people make when they're trying to, you know, lose weight or go to the gym or something like that, is they go all in, all of a sudden I'm cutting calories, gym at 5 o'clock in the morning. It never works, because you have to
go hard, go home.
Structure and routine, but you can't do that by going 0 to 100. I mean, some people can, but I can't. But I think when it comes to spirituality, again, it is the temperance. It is the slow, and it's the steady, and it's being patient with yourself that, you probably fall off the bandwagon, and it's okay if you're not doing it every single day.
For sure. And look, to be honest, I think it took me 47 to 48 years to get to the point where I realized less is more. And that I can just do something consistently 4 or 5 days a week. And for me, it's my meditation, because that's what works. That's how I connect. Then I'm in a good place. But it's small. So then if I fall out for a day or fall out for 2 days, it's really easy to pick it back up and keep it going, because it's not a big thing where it's like, oh my God, I've got to meditate, because my meditations aren't huge. Sometimes they are, but sometimes they're small, but it's just that moment of just connecting.
That accumulation of, I'm just going to meditate once a week. I'm just going to meditate twice a week.
Yes.
Got time for another one today, and then all of a sudden it's so much part of your routine, and that becomes so much part of your identity that you're not having to think about it.
No, it's not a thought, it's just part of your every day. And I think
it becomes an autonomous skill.
Absolutely. And I think building a connection of spirit that way is a much more effective and long-lasting way to connect with spirit than, like I said, you know, I've been there. I've done some crazy ideas and vision boards of how this is how it's going to be, this is what I'm going to do, but it's never worked out for me.
I absolutely agree, because otherwise you're just pushing crap uphill, really.
Absolutely. Yes, that's an oldie but a goodie. That's very spiritual. But while we're on the discussion of spiritual, what is your way of connection? What's your best way of connect?
I think it depends on the day. I'm very much not one of those people who is like, oh, I go and sit down and I do meditation, and, you know, you've got to go and connect and, you know, do this, do that. I don't have I guess I'm just like the anti-spiritualist, really, because I just don't do what I've ever been told. I spirit ebbs and flows depending on my mood and where my time is and how much I've got going on in my life. So, you know, sometimes I'm sitting down and I could just be drawing. I might just be doodling. I could be washing up. You know, lately a lot of my spiritual stuff has come through singing.
Yeah,
I'm so
beautiful.
lucky because I have had the pleasure of working with a choir recently, and just being in the energy of so many beautiful women and getting to work with their energy and through that creativity in music, like the amount of things that I've had come through spiritually just from loved ones and that sort of thing, like that has been a massive turning point for me. And I was just it's never been something I went, oh, I'll connect to spirit with that. Sometimes it just happens. So for me, I try not to say, oh, I'm going to connect with spirit. I just, like you said before, I just take the breath in and go, like if I'm up, oh yeah, come, you know, let me chat to my imaginary friends now.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the line between spirituality and creativity, like they go hand in hand. I mean, we talk about inspiration,
To
and
be
that's
creative, you
what
have
it
to
is.
put yourself up to spirit to even be creative, because
Yeah,
I mean, you know, lots of people just argue that creativity is a skill and it's just something, the neurons in a person's brain, it's their way of, you know, connecting. But I don't know. I think creativity is very much depends where your belief is, I guess. Like for me, if I've got a creative thought, I go, oh, spirit that gave that to me. You know, if you're more of a scientific person, you'll go, oh, that was just the way my brain is wired. But I think if you are someone who really has that belief in spirit, then I would say creativity and spirituality, or your connection to spirit, are actually just one and the same.
I agree. I mean, you could just chalk it up to inspiration, couldn't you? Really?
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, you've got an idea drop into your head, and that's, oh, I'm going to paint this picture, or you know, word drop into your head, and that word becomes somebody else's reading.
Yeah, definitely.
The same drop, if that makes sense.
Definitely. So tell me, while we're on connecting with spirit, how do you hear, see, feel, smell, taste? What is it for you? What is it that comes through most for you, your predominant sense?
I tend to just get words pop into my head. Like I'm not I saw, you know, old Nan sitting at the bottom of my bed. Like that was freaking.
Call Nan old?
She was 90 something. She was old.
It doesn't matter. She would not be happy about being called old.
Well, maybe not for you. She was okay. So you left out.
This lady skipped.
I was your goddaughter. You forgot that I was your niece. So this is why we're arguing. If anyone,
good point. Yeah.
She was not your old Nan because she was your grandmother, but she was my great grandmother. So I had Nan, and then I had old Nan.
But let's just be clear. This is a lady who, in her 80s, was skipping with a skipping rope.
Yes, old by age, not by nature.
And I can hear her just saying, "I'm not old."
See, no, I don't see old Nan sitting at the bottom of my bed. No, I do not. But I get a lot of like, it's gonna sound funny. I get so many like nursery rhymes pop into my head.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
Example. So I was doing a workshop with beautiful Val Hood. And one of our exercises she wanted us to do was to connect with someone else in the room. And I was connecting with a lady, and you know that nursery rhyme, 10 Little Indian Boys?
Yes. Yep.
I just got 10 Little Indian Boys drop into my head, and I knew I was connecting with her dad. And I said to her, I was like, is your dad one of 10? And she went, yeah. And I didn't even think about how odd it was for me to say, was your dad one of
10? That connection's just come straight
that
in.
connection just came out. I was like, wow, there's a lot of siblings. But yeah, that's how
Yes.
I get a lot of that, but also too because I like to doodle when I do readings. Like if I'm I was doing just another example of how I connect. But I was doing a reading just for a friend, and I kept drawing circles on the page, I
Yeah.
said, well, this circle that I keep drawing, like, this has got to do with his passing, but like, why the circles? And she went, oh, that's because he passed away in an MRI machine. That's the tunnel.
Oh, no way. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just
Yeah.
like that, but I mean, like, they're subtle as.
And but that's spirit's always subtle, you know. It's very rare that you get punched in the head with spirit. It's learning to pick up on those subtleties, and I think that's what a lot of people.
Oh, I've got a little bit more of like a slight tingle down one arm, which you put off to poor circulation because you've been leaning against a fence for the last 30 minutes.
Definitely.
But it's that hyper awareness, I think, about your body.
Definitely. Yeah. So for me, when my one of my main guides comes in, he comes in here, and it just feels different. And it's such a random thing. And to the point that, like, I started to think, oh, maybe there's something wrong, like, with this part of my head. So I asked, can you come in differently? And they did. And so then they started coming in a different angle. But it's those small subtleties that really
magnet, like, you know, when you push the ends of magnets together.
Yes, definitely.
That very, or like when you see the wavy lines on the road within heat, it's like that very subtle change.
Definitely. It is subtle. It's not big. And that was the thing. And speaking of Val, like, she was the first person that I sat down and learned how to connect with. And it blew my mind that it was like, because I'd been waiting for the big bang, and I was like, oh, I've been getting this for ages.
Yeah.
I do this. Like, I just kept ignoring it because I just thought it was me.
And Val does something very good in the book, and it was a game changer for me. Is she was talking in her book, she talks about she had a nursery rhyme pop into her head, Mary, Mary, Mary. And I went, oh, I get it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I didn't think that nursery rhyme was given to me. And she does a very good job in her book in debunking that. And that was a game changer for me, because suddenly I understood the subtleties of it.
Yes.
Because you are like, where are these people just like walking down the road and just seeing old mate hanging out?
Definitely.
At the letterbox. I'm just like,
Sometimes yes, they do, and you do see them that way, but predominantly but for me, like, that didn't come until I really started to acknowledge the subtleties, and I really started to tap into them.
It's not that they're standing there for 2 or 3 minutes. They're there.
Oh, no. It's a flash.
I think this is the bit people get caught on, is they think that, you know, you're seeing them as I see you when I'm having a conversation, but you're not. If you see them, it's so fast that you're kind of going, did I actually just?
And yet the weird thing is, you can describe them.
Yes.
You can say how tall they are, how short they are, what build they were, what color was their hair. It's incredible how much information you get in just that flash. Yeah.
But I just think, could you imagine if we did see them for like 2 or 3 minutes? We'd all be.
I'd be so distracted. I'm already distracted.
I just don't think he'd be able to function. But, you know, on that topic about seeing them, I think that's something that happens in dreams.
Yes.
Very regularly, and people question it. And I had a friend most recently, I know you know this story, Suze, had a dream about her grandfather. And, like, this is not someone that knew about, what, you know, all this stuff I do.
Yeah. The mystical witchy stuff.
Stuff that no one knows about. But I said to her, look, I had a dream about your grandfather. Here's me assuming that her grandfather's even passed.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we're just going to go here. And I said, he was wearing this and he was sitting like this. And she said to me, you know, I had a dream about him for the first time since his passing last night as well.
Yeah.
And I said, why did he come to both of us? And I said, because, like, what I used to do, if I hadn't have had that dream to validate that he had come through, you wouldn't have believed your dream was real.
Yeah, definitely.
I think having the dreams is very much like when you see that flash of light, you know, and you see them, whatnot. I think we need to acknowledge that the dreams are very much them and not question it.
Definitely.
And I think our spirituality goes, and I think you asked earlier, what did you ask me? What was the overriding question? What does spirituality mean to you? Is that what you said?
Oh, I can't remember what I asked you.
I think it's just trust.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
So, yep, that this is what it is, and you've got to have blind faith.
Yeah, I agree. But that validation was both for you and for her, because it validated your dreaming as much as it validated her. And that's super important. And I guess that was what I wanted to talk about just before we finish up, is that serving spirit, like how do we serve spirit? And I think that's like perfect example of serving spirit.
Yeah, trust what you've got, and if the situation feels appropriate, pass the message on, because I think spirituality is really just about passing on the love and the healing. And it's like
appropriate.
It's complicated. It's very simple. It's just give love, give light.
Definitely. And that I want to really highlight that word appropriate, because it's not always appropriate. But sometimes you can give that information in a way of, oh, hey, I've got your dad here, but you may be talking about something in relation to dad, and you can still bring that love in and still bring the information in without freaking the person out or saying, I'm connecting to dad right now. You don't have to say I'm a medium or I'm this or I'm that, but you can still bring the love through. And I think that's really important.
At the end of the day, I mean, when you're getting a message like, hey, it's going to be okay, it's really they're just words of wisdom.
Yeah.
The person you're talking to doesn't need to know if it's come from spirit or come from you. At the end of the day, all they need to know is, here's a message that's going to benefit you in a way that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And feel light. And that's all it is. It doesn't. And I think if you are working as a medium, it shouldn't matter whether that person knows you're a medium or connecting to spirit. It doesn't, because it's irrelevant.
Yes.
It's actually absolutely irrelevant. And I think that's where a lot of ego in mediumship, because
that's just ego.
Yeah, everyone wants to, someone to know, oh, I'm the medium, I got the message from spirit. But if you're really working with spirit, it doesn't matter.
No,
it doesn't
matter. Not at all.
Your work, you just got to pay the love.
Yeah, I agree. And just picking up on that, the love thing, you don't have to bring a message or feel the spirit to be able to bring love. And that is as significant a message from spirit, and being part of spirit is just bringing love and shining your light. And when someone is struggling, to be able to bring that love through to them. And I think, to me, that's the greatest service of spirit.
Yeah, spirituality will grow from that too. Like, if that's your goal, is to connect, is you just start bringing love and you shine your light, and they come.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely, positively agreed. So on that note, we do have some exciting news that, as many of you would know, we've been open for about a month now in the beautiful Robertson, which is gateway to the Southern Highlands, and quite chilly at the moment. It's a little bit nippy up here. We hit a maximum of about 9 or 10 today. It was awesome. But we do have something exciting, and Ash is going to be a part of that. Let me just pull this one up here if I can. We, as part of Serving Spirit, are going to be offering some short free mediumship readings on a Monday on a regular basis between about 9:30 and 1. No appointments. It's just rock on in, and if there's time and space available, we will give you a reading. So sometimes it will just be me, and if it is just me, then I'll have to, obviously, if somebody comes into the shop, I have to stop and serve them and come back. So but also we'll be having some other special guest mediums, like the lovely Ash, who will be coming up not this Monday but the following. Is that right?
Is the goal. Yeah,
that's the plan, but I'll announce that as it gets closer. But starting from this Monday, I'll be there. and yeah, doing some reading. So there'll be like 5-10 minutes. It's not the full shebang, but it's it's incredible the amount of validation and connection you can get in a 5 or 10 minute reading. And yeah, it's, if you're up for it and you're needing to connect to somebody, I know there's been times in my life where I couldn't afford a full reading, and being able to come across like someone who was just connecting to spirit and just bringing the love would have been amazing. So I'd like to be able to offer that to others.
Come say hi.
Say again? Are you there? Uh-oh.
Well, for whatever reason, your sound has all dropped out on me, and I think it's only because I've got 3% battery left on my phone, so I might have to take off.
Well, it's a good thing. Good thing we're finishing up in a second. So, Ash, I want to say thank you for coming on
My
tonight.
pleasure.
Appreciate it. It's been lovely having a natter. Well, I've always got time for a natter. But anyway, so as far as Auralite goes, we are open from Thursday through to Sunday, 9 till 2 p.m. And you can find us in Robertson Village. And you can also find us online at www.auralite.com.au. So thanks, guys, for sticking around and having a listen. And thank you, Ash, for popping on. I'm hoping to bring some more live action over the next few weeks. And we might start getting something a bit more regular and doing some live readings as well. Anyway, thanks, Ash. I think your mic's gone really. Well, I'm going to mute you now. Thanks, Ash. And yeah, thanks, guys, for dropping in and having a listen. And yeah, we will talk again soon. In the meantime, love and light to you all. Have a wonderful rest of the week and into the weekend. And yeah, hopefully get to see you soon. Bye.